All right, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. We got 2 days away until the Super Bowl. By the time everybody sees this, it'll probably be Saturday. So it'll be one more day into the Super Bowl. So we're just going to go in, look at a couple things, look at Chiefs offense, 49ers offense, Chiefs defense, 49ers defense, score predictions, MVP predictions, and a couple other questions. So we're going to start off with what we think's going to happen when it comes down to the Chiefs offense versus the 49ers defense. Liam, you want to start?
Uh, Catch the ball. That's a start. MVS, couple games in the playoffs have actually, not had stone hands and was able to make some big catches. Um, feel like if the Chiefs can lean on Pacheco too, that will be huge. McKinnon is supposed to be back. Um, and then you just have Mahomes on the other side too with Kelsey. And I think that they might be able to find a rhythm, but this year they haven't been great on offense. So I think they can maybe score 24, 27 points. So as long as the defense plays like they have been, they should be fine.
Jason, what do you think?
I think this is going to be more of a 49ers defense thing than it is Chiefs offense. Like you already know what you're getting with the Chiefs on offense. Even with the receivers not, being receivers this year, playoffs came around and all of a sudden they catch the ball again. So I think this is more going to be about the Niners defense. And I've got a bold prediction actually on this. If you go back to Super Bowl 50 when Von Miller was a total wrecking ball in that game, I think I think this is going to be a. I think this is going to be one of those games for Mr. Bosa. I think he's going to be in that backfield and he's going to be bullying. I don't know why, especially looking at the Chiefs' offense this playoffs. Doesn't look like Mahomes has gotten touched hardly at all in any of those games. But for whatever reason, I've just got this feeling that Bosa is going to have a Von Miller type game, and the Niners are going to shut down that offense.
I will say, must have just come up in the last 10 minutes. Joe Tooney's going to be out for the game. Um, does that change either of your guys' predictions for the game?
Nah.
Not really. He was out last week too, or against the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, and we saw what happened there. Mahomes wasn't even touched. Um, You know, all year long, Chiefs offense has been very questionable, but just like the Niners defense, every time around this time of the year, that great defense we all think is that's top two, top three, top four defense every year, and they just can't show up in one of the last games of the year. They did that last year. They just couldn't even stop the Eagles offense. They couldn't stop Mahomes a couple years ago in the Super Bowl. I have a lot of concerns of consistency with this 49ers defense. I mean, they're third in points, eighth in yards, 14th in passing yards, eighth in passing touchdowns, third in rushing yards, fourth in rushing touchdowns, and fifth in turnovers. That should scream that the Niners are going to win this game. I mean, looking at the stats on the year, they should win. Um, I don't think so. I don't think they're consistent enough to stop that that guy on that other side, Patrick Mahomes. That dude's just he finds a way against every defense, every offense. It doesn't matter. I mean, they have one of the worst receiving cores that I've seen out of a team going into a Super Bowl, and probably since the Eagles won the Super Bowl a couple years ago, when it was just Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, Zach Ertz. Very similar. I mean, you have the Chiefs where you got Rashee Rice. That's a good, reliable target. Eagles had Alshon Jeffrey. A top tier tight end, Zach Ertz. Uh, Chiefs got Travis Kelsey, obviously. And Nick Foles went nuts. But very different. You have Patrick Mahomes, who's just amazing. So I have no concerns over the receivers on the Chiefs. And you know what? That might come back and bite me. This might be a bad clip, but I have no concerns that the Chiefs can dominate this game off, dominate the Niners defense. All right, let's flip it and we're going to talk about the 49ers offense versus the Chiefs defense. So, Jason, you want to take this?
See, so when I say that I think the Niners defense can shut down the Chiefs offense, I also think the Chiefs defense can shut down the Niners offense too. Because yes, they got CMC, he's a freak. But I don't think I think it's all going to come back to Brock Purdy and what he's going to do. You know, he's shown up in a couple games this year where he's went nuts, and then there's been other games where he has been just looking like the last pick in the draft. So I think the story is going to be on him. Is the stage going to be too big for him? You know, so far in the playoffs, I mean, it hasn't intimidated him, but you know, it's the Super Bowl; it's a different animal. So um, I I think if they can establish a run, obviously with McCaffrey and take some pressure off of Purdy, then they've got a chance that way. You know, if the I don't know, I wouldn't even go as far as to say, you know, the Niners receivers helping them out because I mean, you know, at the very least you got Kittle as the safety blanket. But, you know, with all the weapons they have on offense, Purdy's just got to do enough, you know, as what Cam Newton called him, game manager. So Super Bowl's on the line. That's all he's got to be in this game. Who cares what his stat line looks like? So um, I think the story's going to be Purdy more than anybody else, but we'll see. I'm still on the fence on who I'm going to pick. So I'm kind of talking to myself here. So
Liam, what do you think?
Um, you have CMC run the ball. The Chiefs are one of the worst run defenses in the league. That's what shocked me about the AFC Championship. The Ravens didn't run the ball, and with that defense being good as they are against the pass, you're gonna have to run the ball. And I feel like if the Niners can lean on McCaffrey, kind of like Jason said, all Purdy has to do is enough. He doesn't have to go out and be a hero. Just lean on the running game, keep Mahomes off the field, and they have a good chance to win it if they can manage to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the game plan's pretty straightforward. Run the ball, you'll be good. There's no need to pass the ball against the Chiefs. I mean, and this is where the issue comes in. If the Niners defense isn't able to stop the Chiefs offense and the Chiefs get up to an early lead, Niners are going to be forced to pass that ball and try to keep up with Mahomes, and you don't want to get into that game plan. You don't. That's you'll die. You will lose this game badly if that happens. So, I mean, if you're the Chiefs defense, just force turnovers. You force one turnover, you force a Christian McCaffrey fumble. Oh, that changes the game completely. Um, I I don't trust Brandon Ayuk. I'm avid hater of Brandon Ayuk, if you want to call it that. I just don't think he's very good. Debo Samuel, he's very good, but it's whether he can stay healthy in these games. How are they going to use Debo Samuel? Are they going to be running him? Are they going to be putting him in the slot? Who are they matching him up against? Because I think he can go anywhere and play against anyone. George Kittle, I feel like the Chiefs can match up against George Kittle very well. Same thing with the Niners defense. Same thing for the Niners defense against Travis Kelce. Um, Brock Purdy just can't turn the ball over. If he turns the ball over just one time, this game is probably over. I mean, we were talking about the player of the year, and that's Christian McCaffrey. If you want to win this game, just give it to your best player. And that'll show that, I mean, the Niners can really win this game, but this is where coaching, I think, is the issue. Because Kyle Shanahan sometimes he's like trying to be Batman. He's trying to think 70 steps ahead, and he just can't do that. That's where games like 28-3 happen. He just needs to just run the ball. That's all you got to do. And this can be what I think possibly a lower scoring game. All right, so now we're gonna go to who wins. Who do we think is gonna win the Super Bowl, and what's gonna be the score? So, Liam, what do you think?
Maybe it's a little bit of bias, but I truly think that experience is going to come into play. More Chiefs players have experienced the Super Bowl than the Niners recently, and think think the Chiefs are going to get it done. I'm going to go with my score of 24-20.
Jason, what do you think?
Every bit of me wants to say the 49ers just because of my absolute hatred towards the Chiefs. But I don't know, man. I just got a feeling, even if the Niners defense can shut down Mahomes enough, I don't know if I trust Purdy enough. I I'll pick the Chiefs just because I'm a conspiracy guy, and I think this whole Taylor Swift thing is going to come back, and it's too juicy for them not to win. So I'll say the Chiefs win. I agree it'll be low scoring. Maybe not as low scoring as Liam, but I'll go a little higher. I'll say 27-24. Chiefs win, and we have to deal with this for another year.
Um, I think I've been pretty confident. I don't think I've been this confident in a Super Bowl since the Patriots beat the Rams, and that was a terrible game. That was an awful game. I'm super confident in picking the Chiefs, even though statistics, film, everything points to the Niners winning. Similar to how that Rams team was that same year, everything pointed to that team. That Patriots team was at the end of the dynasty. This Chiefs team during the stretches of this year did not look like they were even going to touch the Super Bowl. But they find a way. They always find a way. I'm picking the Chiefs. And I think what I said earlier about Chiefs are going to come out to a lead and Niners are going to try and start passing, it's not going to go well. I think it'll be 27-16 Chiefs. All right. And now MVP. We're going to pick MVP if either team were to win. So if the Niners were to win, who would win? If the Chiefs were to win, who would win? Liam, what do you think?
If the Chiefs are going to win, it's going to be Taylor Swift.
Oh, I
No, I
hate
feel like
this.
if the Chiefs win, think think they got to give it to Mahomes. And I feel like if the Niners win, it's definitely because their defense is going to step up. So I'm going to go with what Jason said earlier with Bosa having a game. So I'm going to go with Bosa for MVP if the Niners would win.
Jason, who are you picking?
If the Niners were to win, I think the obvious choice would be McCaffrey. And then if the Chiefs win, again, I'm going to lean on this whole conspiracy thing, and I'm going to go Kelsey would get the MVP.
All right, I'm going to go a combo with the two. So I think if the Niners win, it's going to be Christian McCaffrey. They have to rely on him running the ball. And if he scores 3 touchdowns, then the Niners going to be in the game or taking a big lead. And for the Chiefs, I feel like it should be Mahomes. And I've been going back on Mahomes or Kelsey. I've seen a little bit of Rashee Rice picks and Isaiah Pacheco. This doesn't feel like one of those games where some random dude is going to come out and win it. These are two heavyweight teams. They both have experience being here. I mean, we saw this matchup a couple years ago. I'm gonna I'm gonna pick Patrick Mahomes right now. That might change tomorrow. I might pick Travis Kelce. But I mean, if Travis Kelce goes off, then this game is over because the Niners linebackers would be covering Kelce. If they can't cover Kelce, if Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner can't cover him, there's nobody that can cover him, and the game's already over. But I'm gonna pick Patrick Mahomes for now. All right. Let's say hypothetically the Chiefs were to win the Super Bowl. They have a dynasty. They get their third Super Bowl in what, 4 years? They've been to 4 Super Bowls in 5 years. Um, with a Chiefs win, is Patrick Mahomes a lock for the Hall of Fame if he retired right now? So, Jason, what do you think?
If you're going, say they win, and if you're going just strictly on Super Bowl wins, then you would have to say yes. If you're going for overall career stats at the moment, I would be on the fence. But I mean, shoot, there's paid talking heads that have him listed as the number two, number three quarterback of all time, and the dude's what 5, 6 years in. So um, I would say yes, just based on how voting is nowadays, anyway. But yeah, with a Super Bowl win this year, I mean, it'd be hard to argue against it.
Liam, what do you think? Even though we probably know.
Um, I feel like with a win, yes, because you already know Manning is going to be in the Hall of Fame, yet he has 2 rings. If you want to go the ring route, Mahomes would have eclipsed him already. Just yeah, like Jason saying, the overall career stats, maybe not so, but strictly on the purpose of Super Bowl wins, then I would say yes, he would be in.
So yeah, Super Bowls. I mean, every dynasty that we've seen, the quarterback of that dynasty is pretty much a lock for the Super Bowl. Aikman didn't have great career numbers. Even if you inflate those numbers to today, not that great of numbers compared to other guys. He's an efficient quarterback, but he didn't have great numbers. And Mahomes, even though he's played a very short time, those numbers are still better than a lot of guys who are in the Hall of Fame because they played so short or because they played so long ago. Um, I think he's a lock. I don't think this is where, like Jason, you're saying with the media heads, there are so many people that think that he's one of the top 3 greatest quarterbacks of all time already. And that's just, he's one of the top 3 most talented. I mean, in my opinion, he is the most talented quarterback of all time. If you're going strictly on talent, with his ability to run the ball, I mean, he only runs during the postseason, and he looks like Steve Young out there running the ball. And I, if you looked at his regular season stats or highlights, you would never know he could run as good as he does, but he runs when he needs to. And then he can throw the ball. He's one of the strongest arms in NFL history. And for some reason, he's very accurate with it. And he's clutch. He can do everything. He's very talented. But I think people get so confused with talent and what you've already accomplished. Yes, he's got 2 MVPs. Yes, he's got, if this were to happen, 3 Super Bowls, going to 4. But there are a lot of guys in NFL history that are statistically better, that have more Super Bowls and have accomplished more Pro Bowls, more All Pros. I know a lot of people don't like Pro Bowls, but it's a measuring stick. So like, if you have 5 Pro Bowls, if you don't have 5 Pro Bowls, what does that say about you? If everyone's doing it, if everyone's in the Pro Bowl, then why doesn't this player have a Pro Bowl? Same thing with All Pros. He doesn't have those yet, and that'll take time. As the years go on, he could possibly never go to a Super Bowl again, never win an MVP again. But as long as he keeps racking up those accomplishments, those Pro Bowls, All Pros, leading the league in touchdowns, yards, then he'll slowly climb the leaderboard. But I think he's got those major accomplishments set to where he's a lock for the Hall of Fame. But he's definitely not one of the. I'm not even thinking about him for top 10 quarterback of all time. All right. If the Niners were to win, Brock Purdy is a very cheap quarterback. So at the current state of his contract, he's making what, under $1 million a year? Next year, he might be making a little over $1 million. If you're his agent, what do you do with his contract? What do you do when talking about a new contract this offseason? Jason, what do you think?
Well, they could lose the game, and if I'm his agent, I go in there. I'd be like, "Do you see what Daniel Jones makes, sir?" Because Daniel Jones can't sniff a Super Bowl. So, I mean, he's going to get paid regardless. But yeah, I mean, if they win this game, you know, I'm asking for a lot. He's already shown what he can do. I don't care what Cam Newton calls him, a game manager and all this. I mean, like I said earlier, there's been times this season and games this season where he's went off. And, with that offense around him, and then obviously we know how good the defense is. I mean, that team could be good for many years to come. So I mean, that's a selling point too. I'd be like, get me under contract now with the team and roster we got now, and we can run this back for a few more times. So yeah, I mean, if they lose, he's still going to get paid, but if they win, obviously they've got even more ammo.
Liam, what do you think?
Yeah, they need to pay him. Like Jason was saying, Cam Newton saying he's a game manager. He just proved that he does have that clutch gene in him from that Lions game, down 3 possessions at half, coming back and bringing his team to win it. That's more than just a game manager. So I definitely, if they win, he needs to get paid. And yeah, even if they lose, that team around him, you can't let him walk away.
Now, I do think he's gonna get paid. I don't know if it's by the Niners or not because it'll depend on situation. So, if they were to win the Super Bowl, if I'm the agent, I'm going straight to the Niners saying, "Hey, this guy ain't touching the field unless he gets paid, unless he gets a contract." It's not that he's making like first round pick money. Like simple, if you're the 32nd pick in the draft, you're still making money. It's not what Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert are making, but you're still making something. Brock Purdy's what? He's living with a teammate of his right now. Like this dude needs a contract right now. Um, he can't like he was joking with Christian McCaffrey a couple weeks ago because Christian McCaffrey gave like the whole offense like golf clubs or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, I can't afford that." No, duh, he can't afford that. Just give him Daniel Jones, offer him just a simple Daniel Jones money, but for a long time, for 3 years until he gets something. But like he needs a contract soon, which is why I brought this up because he's got a couple years left. And if you're the Niners now, what and Brock Purdy's agent comes to you and says, "Hey, we need a new contract now." But you can't afford to pay him and keep the guys that you currently have on the roster. And you're thinking, okay, if we went to a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo, gone to a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy, maybe we can go get another quarterback and do the same thing. I mean, if you're the Niners, what's holding you back from doing that?
Yeah. But are you willing to take that gamble?
That's true. That is a huge gamble. That's my thought process. If you're the Niners, I think you should pay him. You need to pay him. Dude's played so much better than Jimmy Garoppolo ever did. And he's young. If he goes anywhere else, he's going to be one of the highest paid quarterbacks in NFL history because you're getting this guy who has experience, went to a Super Bowl. If they win, won a Super Bowl, still he's going to get paid wherever he goes. So this is a this is going to be an interesting situation. My assumption is they won't look at it this year. They'll look at it next year. They'll probably pay him next year. Trent Williams might retire, not this year, but next year. Trent Williams did say he was playing next year, but who knows how long he's going to pay. So his contract's going to start to uh, go somewhere else. Christian McCaffrey's is going to be up soon. Debo Samuel's is going to be up soon. Suddenly, all these contracts are going to go. You can't keep paying all these guys. Even Kyle Juszczyk is one of the highest paid fullbacks in the entire. I think he's the highest paid fullback in the league. He's highest or second highest. But you got to figure out a way to get that contract done probably as soon as possible because if you wait to next year, I mean, who knows what quarterbacks? Let's see. This year, Trevor Lawrence is probably going to get a contract extension. Maybe I don't know. next year is I don't know who would be looking at a new contract or not, but you gotta either do it very soon or try and work something out for next year.